The smell of slightly burnt hot dogs hangs in the air. Not burnt enough to trigger the smoke alarm I installed last month. I checked, double-checked, and triple-checked the sensitivity, but burnt enough that my wife, Sarah, is giving me the look. Around us, pure chaos reigns. 10 8-year-olds, fueled by juice boxes and the sheer gravitational pull of a slowly deflating bouncy castle, are locked in mortal combat. Pirates versus superheroes. My son, Leo, currently Captain America wielding a foam sword against a tiny Blackbeard, is having the time of his life. It's his 8th birthday. Me? I'm just trying to keep the casualties down. Mostly mine. "Frank, did you see where the extra napkins went?" Sarah shouts over the din. She's juggling a tray of cupcakes that look suspiciously like they might collapse into primary colored goo. "Think they got drafted into the pirate fleet?" I yell back, flipping burgers that are dangerously close to cremation. This is Saturday, my day off. In my real life, Monday to Friday, I'm Frank Thompson, City Fire Marshal. I deal with actual emergencies. Hazmat situations, 5-alarm fires, building collapses. I walk through charred remains and make decisions that have real consequences. I know the precise flashpoint of 30 different flammable liquids. I can calculate sprinkler system requirements in my sleep. But right now, I'm Dad. And Dad is significantly more stressed about a potential frosting incident than he ever was about that chemical spill last Tuesday. These kids, they're a different kind of hazardous material, unpredictable, prone to spontaneous combustion of tears or laughter. "Okay, Buccaneers and Caped Crusaders," Sarah announces, clapping her hands. "Magic show time, inside the clubhouse." A roar goes up. They surge towards the community clubhouse we rented, a small beige building adjacent to our yard. It's got questionable carpeting and fluorescent lights, but it's air-conditioned, and crucially, it contains the amazing Dave, a magician whose primary amazing feat seems to be making $50 disappear from my wallet per hour. Just as the horde swarms inside, a figure appears at the edge of my vision, like a vulture spotting unattended potato salad. Brenda. HOA President Brenda. Clad in her signature purple tracksuit, visor perfectly aligned, laminated ID badge glinting in the afternoon sun, she carries a clipboard like it's a scepter. "Frank," she says, her voice tight. It always sounds like she's perpetually sucking on a lemon while simultaneously judging your lawn maintenance schedule. "Brenda," I reply, forcing a smile that feels like cracking plaster. "Enjoying the festivities?" "The noise level seems somewhat excessive for a Saturday recreational event," she sniffs, making a note on her clipboard. "Bylaw 7.4b clearly states—" "It's a kid's birthday party, Brenda," I interrupt, keeping my voice even. Years of dealing with stressed-out building owners has taught me patience. Mostly. They get a little loud. "And the bouncy castle," she continues, gesturing vaguely towards the deflating beast. "Is that regulation distance from the property line? Potential lawn damage is a serious concern." I bite back the urge to ask if she's measured the sigh of the remaining air. "It's temporary. It'll be gone tonight." She doesn't look convinced. "I also observed a child," she lowers her voice conspiratorially, wandering near the unsupervised utility area behind the clubhouse. The utility area is a 10 by 10 patch of scraggly grass fenced off near the clubhouse's side door. The door I specifically checked this morning, the fire exit door. "The kids are supervised, Brenda," I assure her. "They're all heading inside now anyway." "Nevertheless," she says, adjusting her visor, "protocols must be observed. I'll need to secure the perimeter to prevent unauthorized access and ensure attendee accountability." She marches towards the clubhouse, clipboard held high. I shake my head and follow the last few stragglers inside. The amazing Dave is setting up, pulling scarves from his sleeve. The kids are settling down, mostly. Then, disaster strikes in the form of a small pirate clutching his stomach. "Mr. Thompson, Timmy needs the bathroom, like now!" calls out Timmy's mom, eyes wide with urgency. The main clubhouse bathrooms, predictably, have a line that snakes past the water fountain. "No problem," I say, pointing towards the side door. "Use that one. Leads right out, quick access back." I specifically remember noting the push bar worked smoothly this morning. Clear path outside. Standard egress procedure. Timmy's mom hustles him towards the door. She pushes the bar. Nothing happens. She pushes harder. The door rattles, but it's solid. Frank?" she calls back, sounding confused. "This door, it's locked." "Locked?" I stride over. "It can't be locked. It's a fire exit." I push the bar myself. It doesn't budge. And then I see it. Looped through the handles, secured with a heavy-duty padlock that definitely wasn't there this morning, is a thick metal chain. My blood runs cold, then hot. Very hot. "Brenda!" The name rips out of me before I can stop it. She appears from the small kitchenette area, holding a half-eaten cupcake and looking infuriatingly smug. "Is there a problem, Frank?" "A problem?" I gesture wildly at the chained door. "You locked this door? You chained a fire exit shut?" "Clubhouse Rule 11.2, she recites, tapping her ever-present laminated ID badge, which, I now notice, is attached to a lanyard that matches her tracksuit. It's a whole ensemble. "All secondary access points must be secured during private events to prevent unauthorized entry and ensure attendee accountability." "Secondary access point?" My voice is rising. I can feel the fire marshal clawing his way out from under the dad facade. "Brenda, that's a marked fire exit, with the big red sign and everything. You cannot, under any circumstances, lock a fire exit. Especially not when the building is occupied. That's Fire Code Section 3-10.4. I stop, breathing hard. Okay, maybe quoting code sections wasn't the neighborly approach. Brenda just raises a perfectly plucked eyebrow. "It's also the door leading to the restricted utility zone I mentioned. Children could wander out unsupervised. Safety first, Frank." "Safety first is having the fire exit unlocked," I roar, forgetting entirely about being neighborly. 20 little faces are staring at me. The amazing Dave looks frozen mid-scarf pull. "That's the point of a fire exit. Get it unlocked, now?" Brenda pats her clipboard, which is somehow still attached to her. "I don't have the key for that padlock on my person," she says airily. "Facility manager protocols require it to be logged in the office safe." She takes another delicate bite of her cupcake. My mind is racing. The actual danger. 20 kids, a dozen adults, one magician of questionable talent, and one blocked exit. The sheer, breathtaking audacity of this woman. My dad brain wants to scream. My fire marshal brain wants to issue citations, fines, maybe condemn the whole damn clubhouse. They collide in a messy internal pileup. I need to handle this, but the party, Leo's party. Okay, deep breaths, Frank. Manage the immediate situation. Keep the panic internal. "All right," I say, forcing my voice back to something resembling calm. "Timmy, buddy, let's try the other bathroom again. The line might be shorter now." I guide the desperate pirate and his mom away. I plaster a smile on my face for the other parents. "Everything's fine, folks. Just a minor door malfunction. The amazing Dave is ready to amaze." Dave looks less than amazing, more mildly terrified, but he gamely pulls a rubber chicken from his pocket. The kids, thankfully, have short attention spans, but I'm fuming. Once Timmy's situation is resolved, I find Brenda again. She's examining a scuff mark on the wall like it's a major crime scene. "Brenda," I say, keeping my voice low but intense. "We need to talk about that door, seriously. What you did is incredibly dangerous. It violates multiple state and city fire codes. People get fined heavily for this. Sometimes they face charges. I'm trying reasoning, trying to appeal to her sense of, well, whatever sense she possesses. Self-preservation, maybe? She turns, clipboard angled defensively. Frank, I understand you're emotional because it's your son's party, but I have a responsibility to uphold HOA regulations. Bylaw 11.2 is perfectly clear, and frankly, your tone is bordering on hostile. Bylaw 3.1, neighborly conduct. I stare at her. Is she serious? Neighborly conduct doesn't trump felony endangerment, Brenda. This isn't about bylaws, it's about basic safety. If there were a fire right now— There isn't a fire, she snaps. And the main exit is perfectly functional. You're overreacting. Overreacting? Right. Okay, diplomacy has failed. Negotiation is impossible. Time for Plan B documentation. I pull out my phone. What are you doing? Brenda asks suspiciously. Documenting, I say, snapping clear pictures of the chained door, the padlock, the fire exit sign above it. For my records. Brenda scoffs. Take all the pictures you want. The HOA board will appreciate my diligence in securing the premises. My hand hovers over my contacts. I could call the on-duty battalion chief. He'd have an engine company here in minutes. Lights, sirens, axes maybe. It would certainly get the door open. It would also terrify 20 children, mortify my wife, and make me the neighborhood pariah forever. Leo's party would be remembered as the time Daddy called the fire department on the mean clipboard lady. No, there has to be another way. A slightly less nuclear option. I dial the non-emergency police line. City Police, what's the location of your non-emergency? Hi, yes, I'm at the Oakwood Creek Community Clubhouse. I need to report, an HOA dispute involving a deliberately blocked fire exit. There's a pause. Sir, is there an active fire or immediate danger? No active fire, but the exit is chained shut during an event with about 30 people inside, including children. The HOA president did it. I feel ridiculous saying it out loud. Is this a property disagreement, sir? Technically, yes, but it's a major fire safety violation, orchestrated by the president during my 8-year-old's birthday party. The words tumble out. I sound like a crazy person. We'll dispatch a unit to mediate, sir. Please wait outside the clubhouse. Great, mediate. 2 cops roll up about 15 minutes later. They look young, slightly bored, like they were hoping for something more exciting than suburban drama. I explain the situation calmly, trying very hard not to sound like a tattletale dad. Then Brenda emerges, binder at the ready. She launches into her spiel about bylaws, security protocols, and my alleged overreaction. Ma'am, says the older cop, looking tired already. With all due respect, you really can't lock or block a designated fire exit. It's against the law. Brenda puffs up. Officer, HOA Bylaw 11.2 specifically mandates securing secondary access points during private functions to prevent unauthorized. State fire code kinda trumps HOA bylaws, ma'am, the younger cop interjects, glancing at the chained door. Look, officers, I say, deciding it's time. I just need a report file documenting the blocked egress during an occupied assembly. I use the official terms. Can't help myself. Habits die hard. The older cop's eyes narrow slightly. He looks from me to the chained door, then back to Brenda's binder. You seem familiar with the terminology, sir. I sigh. Might as well get it over with. It's kind of my job. I'm Frank Thompson, City Fire Marshal. Their expressions change, subtle but definite. The boredom evaporates. They look at Brenda, then at the chained door, with new understanding. Ma'am, the older cop says, his voice firmer now. You need to unlock this door immediately. Brenda actually flutters her hand. Oh dear. As I told Frank, I don't have the key for that particular padlock. Facility manager procedures, you understand. The cops exchange a look. They take down my information, Brenda's information, write up a report. They give Brenda a stern warning about fire code violations and strongly advise her to locate the key immediately. Then they leave, shaking their heads. Brenda watches them go, a triumphant smirk on her face. See? She says to me. No arrest. Just a simple misunderstanding about procedures. I just stare at her, the police report number burning a hole in my pocket. Misunderstanding? Oh, we're way past misunderstanding, Brenda. We're entering the realm of official complaints and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of professional payback. The party wraps up without further incident, though the amazing Dave seemed to rush through his finale. Leo is happy, buried in presents, oblivious to the simmering suburban Cold War his party just ignited. Sarah knows something's up, but waits until we're cleaning the aftermath, surrounded by deflated balloons and pizza crusts. Okay, she says, hands on her hips. Spill it. What happened with Brenda and the door? You looked like you were about to spontaneously combust. I tell her the whole story. The chain, the padlock, the bylaws, the cops. Her eyes get wider and wider. She chained a fire exit? With kids inside? Sarah whispers, horrified. Frank, that's insane and dangerous. Tell me about it, I sigh, scrubbing dried icing off a plastic table. I filed a police report. Good, she nods firmly. What else are you going to do? Well, I say, a slow, slightly wicked idea forming in my mind. First, I file an official complaint with the city tomorrow morning, using my Marshal authority. Let the bureaucracy handle the formal citation. And second, Sarah asks, sensing there's more. Second, I grin. I think the HOA might need some help addressing a few deferred maintenance issues I've noticed around the property. Brenda's always so concerned about keeping things up to code, after all. The next morning, I file the official fire code violation complaint against the HOA, specifically citing Brenda's actions. Email sent. Wheels of justice, however slow, are turning. Then I make another call. Thompson Construction, Sal speaking. Sal Thompson, my cousin. A contractor who knows his stuff, enjoys chaos, and has a healthy disrespect for petty tyrants. Perfect. Sal, it's Frank. Need a favor. Frankie, what's up? Need a rush permit pushed through? Not exactly. Need a quote for an HOA job. Sal groans dramatically. Oh, Frankie, no, don't do this to me. Which one? Please tell me it's not the Oakwood Creek HOA. Please tell me it's not run by that woman who measures people's hedges with a laser level. The very same, I confirm. Brenda's kingdom. Brenda, I knew it! What'd she do now? Cite you for unharmonious wind chimes? Worse, I say grimly. She locked a fire exit during Leo's party, chained it shut. Silence on the other end. Then, a low whistle. Okay, Sal says, his voice suddenly serious. That's not just crazy, that's dangerous crazy. What do you need? 'Cause there's a section of the community fence near the clubhouse that's looking pretty shaky, I say innocently. And some cracks in the main pathway. Brenda keeps ignoring them. I think the HOA needs a professional assessment and quote for repairs. You know, making sure everything is absolutely up to code. Thoroughly? Sal chuckles. Ah, a thorough assessment. Got it. Every split post, every loose board, every hairline crack that might potentially become a trip hazard under certain adverse weather conditions. Full compliance report detailing potential liabilities? Your professional discretion is appreciated, Sal, I say gravely. Just want to make sure the community is safe. Safety first, Frankie, Sal replies, catching my drift perfectly. Consider it done. I'll schedule a routine inspection for tomorrow. Sal, true to his word, performs the most thorough inspection Oakwood Creek has ever seen. His official quote arrives in Brenda's HOA mailbox a few days later. It details, with excruciating precision and alarming cost estimates, the necessary repairs to the fence, advanced decay requiring full panel replacement, the pathway, multiple substrate fractures posing significant trip and fall liability, and, for good measure, the clubhouse gutters. Severe blockage potentially leading to foundational water damage. The same day Sal's quote lands, I receive my first official HOA violation notice from President Brenda. Apparently, my lawn, measured by unknown means at an unspecified time, exceeded the maximum regulation height by 0.5 inches. A follow-up notice arrives the next day. The trim paint on my mailbox is Benjamin Moore Colonial White instead of the HOA-approved Whispering White. Fine threatened, $50 per day until rectified. I'm standing in my driveway staring at the mailbox notice when Brenda does a slow drive-by in her golf cart, a smug look plastered on her face. This is war. I grab my tape measure and meticulously check my lawn height. 3.8 inches. The limit is 4.0. I take pictures. I find the leftover paint can for the mailbox. Whispering White, clear as day. I take more pictures. She's lost it, Sarah says, watching me document the precise shade of white on our mailbox. She started it, I mutter, uploading the photos to send back with my official dispute form. She chained a fire exit. Now she wants to talk about mailbox paint? Fine. We can talk about mailbox paint. We can also talk about city permit requirements for fence repairs exceeding 10 linear feet. The next HOA meeting is announced via a flyer slipped under every door. Subject: Urgent Budget Review and Community Standards Enforcement. Brenda's doubling down. Fine by me. I've got my police report, my official complaint confirmation from the city, Sal's detailed quote, printouts of the relevant fire codes, and photos of my perfectly regulation height lawn and correctly painted mailbox. Are you sure about this, Frank? Sarah asks, watching me assemble my evidence binder. It feels disturbingly similar to Brenda's. It's just an HOA meeting. It started with an HOA meeting, I remind her. It escalated to a chained fire exit. Someone needs to put a stop to it before she decides locking the main gate is a necessary security measure. I tap my binder. Time for the Marshal to make a house call. The clubhouse meeting room is packed. More residents than I've ever seen. The air is thick with grumbling, mostly about Brenda's recent enforcement blitz and the rumored high cost of unexpected repairs. Brenda sits at the head table, flanked by the nervous-looking treasurer and secretary, her binder open, her visor casting a shadow over her eyes. She calls the meeting to order, her voice radiating false calm. She breezes through the minutes, then launches into the budget. And due to unforeseen but necessary maintenance requirements, she says, avoiding eye contact with Sal, who is sitting calmly in the front row, we are facing a significant budget shortfall. This necessitates either a special assessment or stricter enforcement of existing bylaws to recoup fines. Sal raises his hand. Madam President, regarding the unnecessary maintenance? Brenda glares. Mr. Thompson, your quote is, under review. It details multiple safety hazards, Brenda, Sal says plainly. Ignoring them increases HOA liability. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Brenda tries to regain control, moving quickly to community standards. There have been several recent violations, she announces, looking directly at me, including improper lawn height and non-compliant aesthetic choices. This is my cue. I stand up, holding my own binder. Brenda, I say, my voice calm but carrying through the room. Before we discuss lawn height, let's talk about actual safety and liability. Let's talk about Saturday, June 14th. Brenda freezes. The room goes quiet. On that Saturday, I continue, holding up the photo of the chained door, during a children's birthday party with over 30 people inside this clubhouse, you, Brenda, deliberately locked and chained shut that marked fire exit. Gasps and shocked whispers erupt. It was a procedural matter, Brenda insists, her voice rising, to secure a restricted area. It was a violation, I state clearly, holding up the police report, of State Fire Code Section 3-10.4, subsection A, egress doors, a violation confirmed by the attending police officers. I place the report on the overhead projector. It's a misdemeanor, punishable by significant fines. Given that the space was occupied, it borders on gross negligence. I pause, letting that sink in. Forget HOA bylaws for a minute. Think about common sense. Think about children. Locking a fire exit is universally, unequivocally wrong and dangerous. The potential liability for this entire HOA, for every single homeowner here, if a fire had occurred and that exit was blocked, it would make the cost of Sal's necessary fence repairs look like pocket change. I look around the room, meeting the eyes of my neighbors. I deal with the aftermath of fires for a living. I investigate causes. I see tragedies that could have been prevented, and locking a fire exit is one of the most basic, most critical safety rules there is. As your city fire marshal, the title hangs in the air. More murmurs, shock, understanding dawns on faces. Brenda looks like she's swallowed her whistle. But I'm telling you, this wasn't just poor judgment. It was dangerous. It put people at risk. And it exposed all of us to massive liability. Now, I smile tightly, holding up my lawn photos. About that 0.5 inch of grass? The dam breaks. Residents start firing questions at Brenda about the fire exit, about her judgment, about the petty fines, about her priorities. She tries to answer, quoting bylaws, deflecting, but her authority has crumbled. The treasurer and secretary look like they want to disappear into the cheap paneling. Someone makes a motion for a vote of no confidence in Brenda's presidency. Someone else seconds it. It passes overwhelmingly. Brenda sits stunned, her face pale, her binder finally closed. Later that night, Sarah pours me a glass of wine. So, she says, curling up on the sofa next to me. Marshal Frank Thompson, HOA Avenger, how does it feel? I take a long sip. Exhausting, I admit. And slightly ridiculous. I spent my Saturday arguing about fire codes with a woman in a purple tracksuit. You did the right thing, Frank, she says softly. She was out of control. Leo wanders in, rubbing his eyes. Did you arrest the clipboard lady, Daddy? I chuckle, pulling him onto my lap. Not exactly, buddy. Let's just say she's taking a break from being in charge. The next few weeks are noticeably calmer. A quiet, unassuming accountant named Gary is elected interim HOA president. He seems mostly interested in spreadsheets, which is a vast improvement. Sal fixes the fence and pathway at a slightly reduced, neighborly rate, he tells me with a wink. The city issues a formal warning to the HOA, with a copy of the relevant fire codes highlighted. Brenda is still around, of course. She glares at me when we pass on the street. She scrutinizes my recycling bin placement with unnerving intensity. But the visor seems less imposing now, the clipboard less threatening. I'm grilling in the backyard again. Leo's chasing butterflies this time, no pirates in sight. I glance over at the clubhouse. Things are quieter, different. Maybe I'm different too. Less hesitant to mix the dad and the marshal when things get truly stupid. Because sometimes, safety isn't just about checking smoke alarms or calculating occupancy loads. Sometimes it's about standing up at an HOA meeting and making sure nobody, no matter how obsessed they are with bylaws, ever thinks it's okay to chain a fire exit shut again, especially when it's my kid's party. Sal installed a new panic bar on that side door, by the way. Top of the line, could probably withstand a direct hit from Brenda's golf cart. Cost the HOA a pretty penny, according to Gary's latest spreadsheet. Sometimes safety just feels really satisfying, especially when it annoys Brenda. Don't tell Sarah I said that.